We're live, back, Friday night, James Bond. What is going on? We are, hopefully some people show back up, but what's going on, Murray? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but we're back. So, where did we leave off? Spectre. But let's talk about October 5th. That's right. No. When did they come up with this? Like 2 years ago? Right. Time out, Murray. I will chat while we sort out your audio. And we're on YouTube, Peter?
Yeah.
Okay. But, yes, for you guys to hear while we get Murray's audio, Murray and I will be in New York City. I haven't seen the guy since Spectre. 4 years in London, England. So we will see each other there, not just live on the internet on Fridays. So should be good. I'm going to be shooting in and out. I'll be there for 1 day and back on the same day for Global James Bond Day, meeting up with a bunch of James Bond influencers in the area. Murray, give me a talk. See if your audio is good
Do
here.
I have to talk? You know how much I hate to talk, Jeff. You know that.
Nothing?
Well, I need like
Okay.
20 seconds behind.
All right. Intrepid, we here, Murray?
Yep, we're all there. All good.
I'm asking the audience.
Oh, okay.
And James Bond Complex. Good
Hey,
evening,
guys.
Montreal.
Bienvenue, bonsoir chez James Bond Canada. I was talking French all day long today. It was crazy. All the people in from Montreal for the design show. Matthew, Edgar, bonjour.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. That's my boy, Peter. All right, we're live. There's some echo. We're going to have to deal with the echo tonight. We'll sort it out for next Friday.
Yep.
Smash that like button if you love echoes. So
Yeah.
do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think Global James Bond Day was. I think it was a clever marketing push.
Yeah.
Nice. They always had something happening on it. With 2012 being Spectre or Skyfall and 50th anniversary Bond Day, like push that. So now there's a lot more social media presence around Global James Bond Day. For those who don't know, everyone should. But
Right.
October 5th, 1962 was the day that Dr. No premiered in London. So they've labeled it Global James Bond Day, and now there's a lot of things happening, and usually not so close, because usually we get like a November release on a Bond film. So
Right.
this time around, I think there's going to be a lot more stuff. Like hopefully, the release of the trailer. Maybe we'll get a poster soon. I'm really anxious to see the
Of course
poster.
you
What do
want
you,
a poster.
of course, I want a poster. What do you think of No Time to Die as the title? We haven't really talked too much about No.
It's definitely it's the title now. It's grown on me. When it first comes out, it's sticker shock, but now it's it. So no, I like it. You see people making mistakes when it first came out. They're like, "No time to kill." You're like,
Yeah.
the chat's got a lot of Canadians in there, and it looks like Lloyd's in here, so that's Washington State, so that's pretty close to Canada. So
Yep.
for the Bond Canadian guys there, like James Bond Complex, feel free to share this into Bond Canada right now. Give us a hand, because I'm not on my phone. Also, maybe into James Bond Complex if you wish. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of the chat tonight with all you guys. And feel free to keep asking us questions. I can see it on the screen over here. People are asking, Murray, do you have your ticket to what? But speaking of these guys, okay, we're talking about Skyfall, and I think for Global James Bond Day in England at the Royal Albert Hall, they're doing Skyfall live in concert. But it's coming to Toronto in February. And
You're going.
We're going. Yeah, I'm going. James Bond Complex going. A bunch of other guys. Lee Bolton will be there in Toronto.
Great.
I have been meaning to make an event on the Facebook page just so like other James Bond Canada people can join. Maybe we go for a drink before. We'll see. So
I'm gonna try and
I
do
did
a
the
James
Toronto
Bond
one. It was
West
amazing.
Coast after after we get back from New York. I'm so excited. I can't tell all of our Bond fans. I'm literally so excited. I haven't seen Jeff in 4 years, so we literally are going to bond together in New York. We're going to do lots of stuff. I'm sure we're going to be able to, find 5 or 10 minutes to do like a live, like we're actually like together side by side. Do not adjust your screen in the same time zone. That'll be one of like the first, and we're really excited to see some of the other Bond influencers.
You all want to be glued to your Instagrams and your YouTubes that day. So.
Big time.
Definitely
and it's
an experience right at noon.
Whoever's got time,
yeah. So let's see. What are people saying?
The first thing I thought about No Time to Die, 2 things I think I shared with you, was number one, it's going to be an amazing theme song. So easy to put that in. It's not like listening to, Another Way to Die, waiting for that one little,
what are you talking about? Another way to die. No time to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Just singing on the internet.
Exactly. What's that line? He's like, another something with a solace of it. And I'm like, oh my God, you've got the word solace in your song. Like, well done, right? You did it. You. It's like the royal wedding. It's like you got the air, you got the spare, you got solace in there. You're good. We love the track. But whoever it is, I've got some personal favorites. I'd love to see someone like Dua Lipa do it. There's a couple others, even like Lana Del Rey, something really moody and dark. But either way, I think No Time to Die is going to be a really upbeat, sort of poppy, something a little different, because the last 2, like the Sam Smith song and the Adele song, have been like slow and moody, a la For Your Eyes Only. So they could go that way again and be a really slow No Time to Die, or something really like upbeat. And the second thing I like about it is I can't wait to see how they put the title in the movie, because I thought it's either going to be one of 2 things. Either a really, really serious moment, like when they're about to get pushed off a cliff by a bulldozer or something wacky, and they'd be like, this is No Time to Die. Very that like For Your Eyes Only, when they're on the front of the ship and they get pulled in with the rope. He's like, we're not dead yet. So it's going to be very deadpan, very serious. Or it's going to be a really funny one-liner, tongue-in-cheek humor. They're like, like their cars crash and then they get in an Uber. You're like, we've got no time for that. It's like, this is No Time to Die. Might be the last, the last embrace of the Bond girl. It's like, we don't have time for that. This is No Time to Die. And then we do, some stuff in base.
Or did we talk about this last time? I have no idea about spoilers or what's really going on. But if Rami Malek is some version of Dr. No
that
time to die.
You surprised me with that a lot. I thought like tuned into wacky, like off the wall, kind of outside the box thoughts, and I'm like, frick, man, that's like, I didn't even think of that. Well done. And you,
there's no comma, like no time to die.
But now, what did you think of? A lot of people said that they really liked the fact that they didn't do, like, obviously they weren't able to do it for Skyfall or for Spectre, but in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, with the O being twice in there, that they put that 007 through it.
I think it's been done enough.
Well, a lot of people were happy that it was just plain old No Time to Die, because you could have lined up the No and 2 and made it again. I think if they had done that, did you think you would have liked it as much? I think I'd be cool with it.
No, I would have thought it was just another action James Bond movie. Then I like it. This is like standalone, sort of.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace kind of felt like it was just copying Casino Royale, right? It was like,
yeah. Well, then again, there's a lot of things wrong with Quantum.
Yeah. So what else? Did you buy a new watch this week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just bought 2 of them.
2?
Yeah.
We're gonna give one away? An Omega?
Actually,
65th anniversary.
Exactly. That's actually something
to the 5 people in here.
You have an Omega, don't you?
Yeah. I'm not wearing it today, but I do.
That's something I actually have always really, really wanted, is an Omega.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure Murray gets one.
That's right. Just
Global
kidding.
James
We'll start
in New York. Let's get them liquored on Bloody Marys or Manhattan.
A GoFundMe page and just add $1, and 8,000 people can add $1. Eventually, I'll get a watch. But I've always been really partial, and forgive me, but I think it's the Seamaster Ocean 2020, the one with the orange dial and the bezel.
Yeah.
The orange one. Yeah, that's
Oh,
the one
yeah.
I've actually been most enamored with over the years.
The
I
Planet
still
Ocean?
had to buy one. Yeah, I guess the Planet Ocean
Yeah.
is the one that either has the metal strap
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the scuba strap.
Rubber. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
the
wears
orange
it
one.
in
That's
Madagascar.
that is yeah.
Yeah.
And I did like the one, and I think it was also the 50th anniversary one, but it was the dark gray graphite one where the underneath of the face, and obviously I'm not a watch guy, so please forgive my terminology, but underneath how it was bumped and beveled like the grip of the QBK. But was that the same watch that had the red 007 on the second hand? Because that was Cheezola. I did not like that.
Yeah. I think like if you listen to a lot of guys that buy James Bond stuff and some of the brands, we like it that it doesn't say 007 on it all the time. So you don't really want your watch to say 007. And I think the 50th anniversary of On Her Majesty's Secret Service watch does a really good job of not like the front of it doesn't show off Bond as much. The back does. That's good. I think.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? People in chat. I gotta buy one for the guys.
Yeah, for some reason my chat comments are recovered. I see Intrepid 007 saying "Sup, boys," and I'm like, well, I want to say hey. But
Tonight is sponsored by Vybo with Kill Vodka. Rather chilled.
Some people really tearing up Avtac. I mean, you know the whole...
Avtac. I've never heard that.
Oh, come on, Avtac. Twine.
I'm such a rookie.
So it's funny how, depending on what generation you're from, where you find the best or the worst Bond movies. And it just amazes me. Some people some people will say A View to a Kill is like the worst Bond movie. Like they just hate it. And I'm like, how can I'm like, how? It's so good. There's so many good things about it. And then I'll say the same thing about what I think is the worst movie. They're like, are you crazy? It's so good.
You like camp ones.
Wow. No, I just like there's a lot of things about Bond movies sometimes that, you'll watch Diamonds Are Forever. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of good things about Diamonds, but there's a lot lacking too. Mm-hmm. But it boils down to the script. Because I think I've asked you, what's the worst Bond movie, Jeff? Mm-hmm. Your least favorite?
Mm-hmm. It's a tough one. I'm not very good at these.
But it's not a Pierce Brosnan. But it's not a Pierce Brosnan, is it? I know it isn't.
No, I wouldn't say those are my worst. No.
Because I think by far my most hated, and two of them, unfortunately, is Die Another Day. Like, sorry,
I don't know. Okay, so take A View to a Kill or Avtac. There's elements in there that are really fun, right? So I think with all these movies, you can pick apart Diamonds, but there's some good scenes in Diamonds Are Forever. So I don't know. I don't blanket call any of them my worst, really. I hate the rankings and what everybody's favorite movies are. I don't care.
It's personal.
I'm a James Bond fan. I'm a James Bond fan, guys. I don't. That's just what we got. I'm sorry. They're 25 movies.
Yeah. Intrepid. I loved Intrepid 007's got, but he's like, I'm watching my daughter's screaming her head off.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
turn down her echo.
Sorry about the echo, guys. Smash the like button again if you love echoes. Not the down one. Yeah, and I think on
being still didn't tell me what your least favorite Bond movie is, though.
Favorite Bond movie?
Least favorite.
Least. I told you. I said I'm not going to say. I'm an ambassador of the sport of James Bond.
God. Unreal.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right, I guess you get in moods, too. So Friday night, what would I put in after this if I wanted to go watch Bond? The other day I put Octopussy, which I used to love, and in the Blu-ray, and I was like, oh my god, this is bad. In the Blu-ray, like the Blu-ray ruins the movie sometimes, because like back when I was a kid, and he's in Q's lab, and the thing falls over, and he's having trouble keeping it up. I'm just like a 13-year-old boy being like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah.
And then they watch it 10 years later, you're like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, too, and there have been so many like before when the Bond movies, let's say, started on VHS tape, where then you got the collections, then you got like the ultimate DVD collection, and slowly and surely, I actually don't have that. I guess it's the white box 25 Blu-ray. I actually don't have that because I kept from part of the Criterion collection. Remember the 4-box set? and each one had like 5 movies in it. So I got all 4 of those because that has all of the, you know, like the extra videos, the behind the scenes documentaries. I still use those and I love them. Love those.
Yeah, those were the first set I had pretty much. Well, and then the VHSs, but those are the ones that had the special features, so like you had to own those ones. They were expensive back then.
Oh,
it's like $200 for like 6 movies.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was like each one at the time was like either like a $99.99.
Yeah, exactly. $199. HMV Canada.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
I have to look over this other microphone.
Oh.
But some people hate Octopussy, Die Another Day.
Thanks, Kyle. He's like,
Moonraker.
live streams in one night. It's Christmas. You know, and speaking of Christmas, I was just thinking about that the other day too. Talking about like, you know, Bond trivia and global stuff. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's kind of a Bond fan, and we're talking about like the release dates. Most people probably know if they look back, but they were talking 1964 as like that double whammy movie, because we talked about not too long ago that the fact that No Time to Die, now that's come out in 2020, it's the first Bond movie ever to be released where the last digit of the year is a 0. I thought that was kind of interesting, because he's like, well, what about From Russia with Love and like the dates and times? I'm like, yeah, but remember, because they didn't know whether it was going to be that successful, right? When From Russia with Love opened in 63 in the UK, it didn't make it until America till the spring of 64. By then they were almost done Goldfinger, and then they released it. Then they're like, okay, now let's coincide and release these. So 1964, America got 2 Bond movies in the same year, From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. How awesome would that have been? Like, could you imagine that? Oh my God, in the days of Bond, maybe a 2 movies in 1 year, I'd freak out. I'd lose my crap. Like, I'd lose it.
Well, I wouldn't even know. Like, imagine there was a rival studio putting out another. They had Roger Moore and Sean Connery. Like, how would you fathom that today? Like, I didn't grow up in that, so that's crazy. Like, Daniel Craig's filming right now, and Pierce Brosnan's filming right over here. It'd be like, what?
Well, I mean, never say never again in terms of its Thunderball remake quality, and you know, there's some good things about that movie too. But a lot of people sort of, you know, still count that. Do you count Never Say Never Again as an official Bond movie? I never have.
Well, okay. Back in the day on Commander Bond, one guy wrote a line. I think it was Bryce, Charlie Axworth, and it stuck with me. If you want to consider it after Diamonds Are Forever. Consider it just Sean Connery, and he's like really retired, and it goes on. That would be a cool way to watch the movie. So you watch Dr. No, you skip Majesties, you go into Diamonds Are Forever, and you go Never Say Never Again. It's like the Connery Bond.
Yeah, and it certainly did have a different feel, and at the time, I mean, that's why they were able to do it in the first place, right? Because that whole Kevin McClory lawsuit, and you know, because Never Say Never Again was released by Warner Brothers.
And Charlie went on to say, this is the same James Bond that fought Goldfinger in Never Say Never Again. You know, versus like, can you really picture Roger Moore doing the same? It's kind of the lines got blurred a bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. And of course, at that time,
go on.
No, I was going to say at that time too, it was all about, you know, Battle of the Bonds and box office success. So despite the fact that, you know, Octopussy was opposite that, didn't really, you know, all they were looking at was like, well, we were more successful at the box office, so our Bond movie was better. I'm like, well, it made enough money to tell that people still wanted to see Connery on screen as Bond. That's for sure.
Right. I got a weird one. We're just talking about like the continuity.
Yeah.
So in For Your Eyes Only, he visits Tracy's grave. Right? You with me, Mary?
I'm with you.
Okay. And what does it say as the year she died?
69.
69. All right. Now think of the movie. They're having Christmas up on Pete's Gloria. We would assume that's 1969. And then would you not assume that wedding in Portugal was the spring or something like that?
Yeah.
It would have been 1970.
Yeah, I see that.
And then someone else made a comment to Anders the other day when I was hanging out with them in Germany that why was Tracy's grave in England when her father may have wanted her buried closer to him?
Yeah.
But did James Bond want Tracy's grave in England? Interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously they didn't think about that back then, but yeah.
And I don't think I clued in until afterwards, because that whole concept of Diamonds Are Forever, Daff, where he's making copies of himself because he knows Bond's coming for revenge after killing Tracy.
Yeah.
Right? That whole concept. And then, it took me a little while, because I guess I was 13 or so.
Yeah.
And so to then make that connection of like, oh, can you believe it's been 10 years? Right. So that 71-year thing. And then obviously, Blofeld on the helicopter and put me down, Mr. Bond. So that's kind of interesting.
I get it. They're trying to do closure there, and nobody's restudying the tapes in 1981. So.
Yeah. I'm really, it's funny, thinking about like, Madeline Swan, Remy, Daniel Craig, Naomi. We started to forget a little about the supporting cast and stuff. I'm really anxious to see what kind of things go in there. Like, I totally forgot, and I keep forgetting his name. Is it Michael something? And people are going to hate me right now. The blonde-haired fellow who's in Downton Abbey, the British actor, blonde hair, Brian, Michael.
Yeah. Maybe somebody can help in the chat there.
Help us out there. I check on my phone or something. Really, like, it's so weird, especially when you see, actors who've been entrenched in a movie series or a TV series, and that's what you know them from. And you're still like, oh, that person is playing that role. But to take them away from like Downton Abbey, I wonder if they're going to give him like a mild-mannered, calm speaking, sort of supporting British agent, or if he's just going to turn out to be like a dirty double cross and like, just like really, I'm really anxious to see what the intricacies of the plot of No Time to Die, are putting together.
I saw Lloyd mention in the comments that he doesn't think Madeline will die, and I'm with you, Lloyd. I don't think she's going to die either. I think everybody thought that, but I think she'll something will happen, but she's just going to stick around. Obviously, she's doing a lot of filming right now. So, but
if she does, though, I think if she does die, I think it'll be one of those like, because you can tell like partway through, you're like, okay, that person's going to die. If Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Scotty, and Crewman Green go down to a planet, guess what, Crewman Green? Sorry about it. Like someone ain't coming back.
I think M was going to die and then dead.
So I think if it does happen, I think it'll be really one of those like, oh my God, like a last minute, like just like hit me thing of like, holy crap, she's dead. So, but it's
no time to die, Murray.
No time to die. Well, it's gonna.
Nobody's gonna die in this movie.
On this,
there's no time.
So we ain't got no time.
Time.
We ain't got no time.
Would you like to buy a timeshare off me? Time.
If people think about what this is going to be as a springboard for the next movie, it's got to have some sort of like tendrils, because they've really wrapped up everything. Like the whole concept of him being officially retired and have to come back out of service, it kind of is a little Skyfall-esque.
Totally. And then
right,
what's going to happen at the end? Like come in 007 and Nami's going to walk in and music plays and we all wonder for 5 years what's going to happen.
Well, this is the other thing. I was thinking about 5 years, right? Except for the wait that we all had to go through. You didn't because you weren't born. Between 89 and 95. Okay, like what you were still on the bottle.
I didn't even know about it, but exactly. Because there's no movies, how was I supposed to know about
it? If you realize that now, other than that long wait between 89 and 95, this is the longest we've had to wait for a Bond movie ever, except for that space. Because, and you think about that too, and how quickly it was done. Obviously, 2006 Casino, they were like, damn, we got it. That was so good. We got to get another movie out right away. So 2006, 2008.
Yeah, and remember they wanted Quantum out in May.
Yep, that's right.
And then they pushed it back.
And then they pushed back what was going to be 2011 for Skyfall to go, oh, we might as well make this 50th anniversary of Bond right on the day, right? And then 2015 Spectre. So now you've got 2015 and now 2020. So 5 years between Bond movies. And when you think back only 10 years ago, it was only 2 years before Bond movie. It's like, it's a double wait. It's excruciating. We're all just like, we're so excited.
And
So
Craig's been affiliated with Bond since 2005. Just take the year 2008. Do you know everything he did? He probably forgets half these movies and what he did. And like we brought George Lazenby to half these places, and he doesn't even remember being there. I don't really know what I did in 2009, like every day, right? So
we were over in when we were over in England. I was sitting with Joe and David, and we're having some good laughs, and AJ and Marcos, and I'm not gonna lie, I'd had a few, okay, and I'm a lightweight, I'm a little guy, so I cannot drink with the big boys. But I told them, I'm like, dude, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Like, I mean, if it weren't for the acid flashbacks, I'd have no memory at all. Okay, so like when you say 2008, I like actually kind of remember what I did in 2008, but all the other movies, and he's getting a lot of buzz on Knives Out. Yeah. Are you going to go and see Knives Out?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah?
When's it out? When's Knives Out?
No, yeah, exactly. When is Knives Out? Well, it premiered at TIFF. Yeah. I think it's got in the next like couple. It's one of those fall releases.
I'm sorry, James Bond Canada, I wasn't there.
It's true.
It's right down the road for me.
It's right down the road. He will next year.
Next year.
We'll get him a press pass.
If you guys all text me and say, "What the heck? Get down there."
Text him and get a press pass. Yeah. That's our GoFundMe page. I need a watch and Jeff needs a press pass. Yeah.
Let's talk about the article you put out on James Bond Canada.
Let's. I loved doing that article. You guys should really check it out. And if you really want some more information on it, I definitely suggest that you click on the McLean's article link, because it really delves into the history of something that is absolutely quintessential and intrinsically Canadian, more so than, let's say, the United States, Japan, the fur trade. And I'm always fascinated by who's doing the sponsors, swimwear by Gotex, jewelry by, Christian Dior. So going through that, if you watch The Spy Who Loved Me, right, the main one you're going to see because of the filming is a thanks to Parks Canada. It was really great to delve into that history of Grosvenor Furs, and they really, really, capitalized on that market, because before you knew it, they were into the biggest luxury retailers in the States, Bergdorf Goodman, and their precursor, Bonwit Teller, which if you walk down Fifth Avenue now and you'll see the Christmas windows they decorate, that actually was bought by Trump at one time, and he promised to keep the facade of that hotel, but then scrapped that idea and redid it. So at one time, their Christmas displays, they started off with the 12 Days of Christmas, and literally people would come from everywhere. It's like the Eden's windows in Toronto, right? Everyone goes down there in the holidays and checks out the displays. But Saks Fifth Avenue, Bergdorf's, all of that. At one time, Grosvenor Furs had 8 of those 12 windows exclusive, and then they got into our Canadian luxury market, Holt Renfrew, which has been around since like the 1860s or so. And for us, I mean, the Toronto Eaton Centre, when I was a kid, oh my God, that was like, it was like the Mall of America in Minneapolis. Just like, I'm in Toronto at the Eaton Centre. You've been there 1,000 times. And even though it's called Dundas Square now, and it's very Piccadilly, and it's very digital marketing, and the theaters across the way, I still call it, and will always call it, the Eaton Centre. Right. So the fact that they were in there, and Holt Renfrew, really, really cool to kind of connect that Canadian Bond connection to the fact that, the actress is wearing a full length white colored mink in that scene. And I've got another article I'm working on.
Well, I never included in.
And you know what? I mean, you love that logo. Like the Grosvenor Furs, black and white with the little Canada. And then later they sort of made a different iteration. It was like a bright Canadian red with that, and the fur trade went on for, it was huge industry. So I'm working on another article right now all about For Your Eyes Only, and the girl that you see in the poster, and what a kerfuffle and what a controversy that was at the time, because it was pretty risque for 1981. And I'm probably going to put together maybe a little article, but I'm also going to do a video on that probably after we come back from New York, because I'm going to try and get down to the MoMA. And that's another thing I've got for you soon is a shout out on this video today to the people who were responsible for the James Bond fan clubs in my early years. Because I think, Jeff, don't you think that today, as a Bond fan, you're really lucky that at your fingertips you can kind of source and find anything you want on Bond?
Yes.
Back then...
It's grown in the last decade, for sure. Before, even in the late 90s, it was hard.
Yeah.
I never knew how these people bought these like Aston Martin toys. I was like, well, they're not in my stores. Like, where are you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
finding this stuff? Now you can just Google Amazon Prime it in 2 seconds. And
Yeah. I mean, before the advent of the internet, for sure. But if you weren't, let's say, I mean, and that's something that you get that I'm really envious of, that I should like grab a few copies. You still subscribe to 007 magazine. You get your issues
I
or
get
quarterly or
confidential.
Sorry.
I don't have 007 magazine.
that's what I meant. MI6
yeah.
company. Yeah, that's what I meant. You know,
I've been
if you
meaning
wanna-
to resubscribe to Club James Bond France and the Swiss ones too. Just James Bond Canada should be subscribed to them. I'm so sorry, Luke. We will. Maybe we'll get a free copy.
Exactly. Those magazines, I mean, I still have like so many from before, but if you weren't a member of if you weren't a member of a James Bond fan club back then, do it. Here.
Yeah,
social.
Someone Uber Eats some more vodka, please.
Exactly. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you are drinking and you don't want to drink and then everyone has to drink, you just call social. So social, everyone was drinking on Friday night. Cheers.
Rather chilled.
And kerosene and jet fuel. Damn.
We apologize for echo, guys. Next week, it won't, or whatever. Tomorrow on the channel, early tomorrow morning, I'm launching a video that George Lazenby returns to the scene where Tracy is shot on my trip to Portugal.
Yeah,
so you guys will see that. I really wanted to call it George Lazenby Cops Called, not clickbait, but Anders got mad at me. Because
that's so good. That's so good.
I thought that would get the clicks on YouTube, but the police actually showed up, a motorcycle cop, while we were on location with George Lazenby at the scene where Tracy gets shot. How do you? That was real cops. So I wanted to call it George Lazenby Cops Called, not clickbait.
That's so.
And the cops like, let's go. Like, okay.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to spend some time with British actor. You'll know him from Britain's Got Talent and Little Britain. Actor David Walliams. Yeah. He always usually does the hosting at the Bond premieres. Yeah. I wouldn't say we're besties, but David Walliams and I have communicated a few times. And you pretty much are like best friends with George now. You know what he drinks. You've seen him like four times now. Your bachelor party, and then in Quebec. And then the documentary, and then again in Portugal. So I'm like, you guys are like best buds now. And for any of you who don't know, Anders from Sweden with Love, who's a good friend of both Jeff and I, is George's manager now. And so when we found out that David Walliams is going to be hosting, I think it's on BBC One, or a Q&A with George on that's a really kind of like cool connection there. We're all really anxious to see that.
Lloyd said, did George cry? No tears this time. If you watch the video tomorrow, George gives a very good tidbit from what happened back 50 years ago with Diana Riggs. So I won't spoil it on a live stream. You got to watch this video. I captured what he said in my video. So
I love him because we had James Bond Jr. during the wait. I'm like, okay.
You're lucky you had James Bond Jr. You're spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh my god, that's like getting like I don't even know. That's like not a substitute. I'd be like, what? Right. This is what I have to substitute. This is what I have to go through while I wait for another film. I want something.
Did you guys see the picture of George Lazenby and they mirrored it with Pierce Brosnan and he's wearing the same Turnbull and Astor tie?
Yeah.
Can I spoil it? I doubt Anders will be watching this, so hopefully not. But I texted Anders being like, nice tie, whatever, because it's Anders' tie, and he gave it to George. Guaranteed. George probably showed up and was like, I don't have a tie. And Anders was like, here, take my tie. Like a good manager.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody's like, he's wearing the same tie as Pierce Brosnan.
I love that. And big shout out to you, Mr. Fashion Icon. I was checking out your pics when you went to your wedding out in Germany. You're hanging out with Anders. And there I am looking at the pictures, and Jeff's in this awesome looking blue suit. He's coiffed up. He looks like he's just come out of hair, wardrobe, and makeup, moisturized, looking fly. And I check out in his pocket square his James Bond, Secret Cinema, Casino Royale, blue pinwheel roulette pocket square. Just rocking. It looked awesome with that suit. I'm so glad you like it. It really looks great.
Yeah, I think I've been wearing suits with like the Daniel Craig, Sean Connery kind of like white pocket square.
Yep.
But then to do that, it's a pretty cool silk. The little puff looks good. Doesn't look too out there. It just looks awesome. I like it.
Yep. Another thing in New York, I'm really anxious too, is because I didn't make it to Spicegate, but it's still running.
Oh, yeah.
So thank God I'm going to get on the Friday afternoon. I think I'm going to be able, because I come in a little bit earlier than you. I'm taking the red eye out, so I'll be there Friday. I used to live in New York, and so I've got some friends that I'm going to see. Some buddies I haven't seen in like 25 years. It's crazy. A guy that I went to kindergarten with, I'm going to meet up with for the first time forever.
Since you're going to do that on the Friday, I might have to put a t-shirt order in because they didn't have Spicegate driven t-shirts when we were all there. They just had Spicegate t-shirts.
Okay.
So we didn't have like the driven one. Yep. So I meant to put a t-shirt order. Anybody else? Murray's going.
Yep.
Put an order in. So.
And actually, because of time constraints and because I don't know what exactly when I'm going to get into Manhattan, I think I'm just going to do. Because did you do just the 007 portion of the Spicegate, or did you do the whole thing?
Just the 007 portion.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the 007 part as well. But that leads back to what I was talking about, the early days of Bond. If it had not been for the James Bond fan clubs back then,
right,
you wouldn't have found out about any of these.
No.
And that ability to find out about things, like now you can go to Spicegate, you can go to Secret Cinema, you can go to Bond in Motion, just click and go. I mean, it's there's thousands of resources and Bond websites out there, plus the general internet. But that 1987 exhibit for me was so important because it really cemented my shoes in being beyond just, okay, I like Bond movies. Then just coming, okay, I really like Bond movies. And then when you go to a big exhibit like that, which was one of the first ones, it was celebrating the 25th anniversary. If I hadn't been part of the James Bond fan club, I had never got a New York paper, I would have never known that was happening. And this was literally 2 weeks before the release of Living Daylights. So it was the summer of 87. It was I was 18 years old. It was just this bam, bam, bam. And so big shout out to two people who I can't believe even are friends on Facebook with me right now, Raymond Benson and Steve Rubin, because I actually still have, I wonder if I can reach it. I think I can, and go off camera here for a second. I still have.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this from the James Bond.
Put it right in front of your face. You gotta put it right in front of your face. Yeah. There you go. More. Up, left, right, down. A, B.
So this I found out about from the 007 fan club newsletter. They're saying, hey, if you're really into Bond, you should check out this book. And I mean, this is inside it. I've marked here that it's my homeroom in grade 10. So that's 1983 or 4 for me. This is the original dust cover, still in good shape. This one, Steve Rubin. And
he wrote the James Bond Encyclopedia.
Yes. And then, of course, because this is the other thing, as I was checking out the MoMA prints that I have that we're going to give away, I'm going to put that together, and we're going to come up with a great trivia question, put it on Twitter, Instagram, but you'll have to watch the video for the clue in order to win the prints. And I'm going to make this available to anyone in Canada or the US. Can't do it to Europe because it is just too expensive to ship, and I don't want to ask our winners to pay for shipping. The other one is
Bedside Companion.
Exactly. So huge shout out to Raymond Benson, to Steve Rubin, who are now friends on Facebook with us. And just, if it weren't for people like that and the people who paved the way before us, I don't think I would have delved as deeply into Bond's treasures as, was possible. So it's a big shout out. As a matter of fact, I looked through the old newsletter to match up my ticket and get some more information about the exhibit. All of a sudden I'm reading. At the bottom it says, written by Raymond Benson. I'm like, oh my God. You wouldn't clue into something like that until much later in life. So that's...
So I see Harris joined the chat. Sorry about the echo, guys, but that's what we got to do tonight.
For the echo.
Yeah, I see one like, and there's 9 people in here. What's going on?
That's awesome. Now we're so happy that we've got subscribers and fans. We love doing it. We love sharing it. And hey, and other Bond news, big changes happening over at James Bond Radio. Everyone's been probably seeing all of that happen, right?
We didn't get asked. Nobody asked us
to
join.
I know. It just our there's so many little clauses in my rider, and Jeff is just way too expensive, So
Signing
I asked. I asked them to pull out all the yellow M&Ms, and they said not going to happen. I'm like, well, I'm out. Sorry, I'm done. Yeah.
There you go. So what else is going on?
What do we think? What do we think are going to be the major market products that are going to come out this time? You know what I'm actually really hoping for, and this is probably because my phone is just like, it's had its day. You're an iPhone person, yes? So
your phone has no time to die.
Exactly. Hands up for iPhone people. I'm an Android person.
Oh God.
And the reason being is because I followed all of the Sony phones that went along with Bond pictures. So my current phone is still the Sony Bond phone from.
This is like the only product placement that they can't get me on. I'm like, I don't need.
So out 86 to Sony. I wonder if they're gonna put like a new Huawei or something, because there's or like, it doesn't have to be Huawei. It could be, it could be Samsung. It could be anything. But I really think that there are some things in movies that people want to buy as, let's say, a keepsake or something like, I got to have that. Like, we all know that they're gonna, and everyone who hasn't gotten them, if you can still get them, try to get a hold of them. Bollinger champagne. I love champagne. Like, I mean, yeah, you buy me a bottle of champagne, we're Bond buds for life. Like, I love champagne, and I can drink it like a fish. And I'm telling you, that bubble case with the lock on it, like the gun barrel, and then the one they brought out for Spectre, we already know that Bollinger are going to be releasing another Spécial Cuvée of vintage this year, probably again in special No Time to Die packaging for No Time to Die, which is going to be great.
We wrote a letter to Bollinger Canada, or
we actually I've been in touch with the people here in the distributor here in the West Coast. There's only one distributor in the East Coast, Jeff. He lives up in there, like Pickering, or I think it's Huntsville. I was going to tell you about that.
I should do that. I need a list. Heineken, all these people.
Yep. What's the other one? What was the vodka from last time? Not Finlandia.
Belvedere.
Thank you. So the Belvedere vodka is up, but I'm really hoping that, because it's such a social media electronic world, and usually on a limited edition Bond phone, you get limited Bond content. Like the ringtone will play the theme song. You get special videos, behind the scenes stuff. But now that Sony is out, we're really, really hoping that they bring out a new Bond limited edition, some kind of Huawei, Samsung for, that they get Bond to use in the film, because I want a new phone.
I'm just on the Apple bandwagon. So.
All right.
It's gonna be
tough. I'm not an Apple person. I never was.
Text. Of course you're not.
Yeah, exactly. But it's because I started with the 2006 Sony Ericsson Bond phone. I mean, it was a Bond phone. I mean, dude, a Bond phone. Yeah. It's the first one ever. Yeah. So I went through 4 iterations. I got the Casino Royale phone, then the Sony Ericsson, it was the K800, and then the C920X, and then the Integra One, and then the 2 Sony phones. So now I've got the last one. And it's been 5 years since a Bond movie, and 5 years in like cell phone land. I mean, it might as well be like a stone tablet.
See, if Harris is still on here, I've been spending my money on the sunglasses. It's like a mortgage payment right now. Every 5 days, Bond's wearing a new pair of sunglasses, and it's like, you gotta get the Barton Perez and the Vernez and more Vernez and more Bartons. I look good, but it's like $2,000 later.
Yeah, and he says, can't hit like on the iPhone, but I'm loving the Echo. And then a couple of us just like,
cheers to the Echo tonight, guys.
Anything but a crappy Sony phone, because that's the worst. I'm so brand loyal, but after a while, Android, some of the Sony phones, they really buggy. Like, I don't think mine's done like a security patch update since like, I don't know, sometime like last year. And then the guys from James MoMA Complex were asking, like, I wonder if Universal, and that's what our next topic should be, is distribution. I wonder if Universal has some kind of contract with an electronics company, because that's something we still don't know here in Canada, right? For all those people out there who know about distribution, right? Mm-hmm. MGM has the distribution, but international distribution is with Universal. So here in Canada, we still don't know if the whole strategic marketing campaign for the Bond film is going to be included in that MGM envelope because it's the States in America, so they'll do it together, or whether Universal is going to consider us like Australia or Croatia and put it. It's not really, I don't think it's going to make much of a big deal to the actual marketing material, the press kits, the things that are available, but it'll just be interesting to see who ends up doing the distribution up here in Canada, because what it does change is like maybe they'll do a premiere in Toronto, or like they always do local premieres. Like, when was the last time you went to a Toronto premiere of a Bond movie, just a local, sponsored by, really? Oh, dude.
They don't exist. I gotta fly to London, England.
Yeah, we do too. Do you think it would be fun to attend a premiere elsewhere? Like, I think
I'm quitting work for the whole month, man. I'm flying to every premiere. You want to sell your house? Now, take that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just do
crappy
like
agent over there.
following Grateful Dead just around. But I think after seeing all that footage of Mexico and Spectre, man, that the premiere of Spectre in Mexico was a spectacle. Like, that was just, it was so, like, the one in England, yes, it's the royal premiere, so it's got all the stars, but it's very posh and very dry, and it's very that one was a party. And our youngest James Bond Canada agent, Britton Walker, was down there. He did that whole bit on Ellen. If you guys want to check that out, you can find it.
Just a live of Britton.
We totally should do a live of Britton. That would be like amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder. We're hoping that maybe because they've never been over. So I was speaking to him not too long. It would be amazing if Britton and his family made it over to England to the next premiere. Maybe you'll get another snuggle and a hug from Daniel and another watch, which of course he would totally give to me. Right?
Yeah.
Britton, please.
Yeah, see, Harris, this is $1,500 on sunglasses, which is like $2,000 Canadian, and he's going to carry my bags next year to all the premieres.
Yeah, exactly. He's like your.
And he needed it.
And not the Persol, but what's the brand on it, Jeff?
Barton Perrier and Vernet.
Yes.
The Vernet and the Jamaica scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the Matera scenes, and then like Barton in England, and then maybe the Norway scenes.
Yeah. Are you a big? I mean, obviously you're like totally into fashion and accessories, but do you have like
I'm wearing a
weakness?
T-shirt right now.
I know, but do you have a
James
weakness
Bond
when
on
it comes to a particular thing? Like, are you like a sneakerhead?
Murray.
You get watches. What's your go-to?
Yeah, you always tip your stylist 15%, right? But if you're a James Bond fan, you just copy everything James Bond wears, and you save 15%. Because obviously smarter people than me put sunglasses on James Bond. I'll just buy those ones. Stylist, done.
Yeah, totally. Actually, you know what I'm loving is some of the new that everyone's saying, here's your best new summer suit. Remember those pictures in Matera, him wearing that like sort of white, clean linen suit by Brunello Cucinelli? I'm actually all over those desert boots, like a fat kid on a smart. Those light, pale gray desert boots with the white trim at the bottom. Those are great. But I mean, some people will just buy 20, like they got 30 pairs of sunglasses and they'll still buy 5 more. Some people are all about the shoes. Some people just can't get enough watches. I'm kind of all over the board. I just, buy the stuff that I like and the stuff that fits.
I'm just seeing Harris saying he's coming to Toronto for Skyfall for February for the live in concert. So that's going to be a party. We're going to get hotel rooms, everything.
And correction, because you've met Harris 2, 3, 4 times.
Too many times.
No?
Too many times.
I have never had the pleasure.
Really? Yeah,
but
I will see him in New York
next
week, Saturday.
New York City.
Like 8 days away.
I know, I'm so excited.
And Harris is like built for New York City. He's the Don Draper
totally
of
looks like
James Bond.
You guys, I'll bet he won't. I'll be like, I'm gonna take an Uber. I'm gonna take a cab. I'm gonna take a subway. It's like, and he'll be like, I've got a driver. I'm like, of course,
he totally will. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be rolling around in a G-Wagon picking us all up. I'm like, yeah. Save room for the luggage rack for me. Just tie me to the top and I'll just, I'm very tiny.
I'm going to have no luggage because I'm just going on the one day. So maybe my laptop in case I have to do some emergency work, but hopefully not. It's Saturday. It should be okay.
Well, I'm going to actually pack my tripod so that we can do a video together and it won't be all like jiggy. Because I know you won't have luggage, so I'm going to bring tripod and we'll have to put your iPhone in it. But it's okay.
I might have a little tripod. I can put it in my little briefcase. So.
Good. Cool.
But like you said, I'm sure the Bond experience will have a live stream going. We'll get some other content, see what we can do.
Yeah. Do you notice too that I mean, obviously it's Bond, but do you notice that there's very few, let's say, things for women in the Bond movies? Like, do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
they just don't tell you.
Yeah.
Like I got Shannon has the Vesper necklace.
He does.
She has the dress of Madeline Swan. She has the earrings of Madeline Swan.
And now I'm going to be a bad fashion person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that. I think it's Christian Dior, but any of our commenters or watchers or likers or subscribers can correct me because I'm probably wrong. That gorgeous navy blue diagonal dress that Madeline wears when she's walking with Bond with that it's like a they call it an illusion, right? Where they call it an illusion dress. Where
I could have bought it. I saw it on eBay. I got one of the guys sent it to me. It was like $1,200. I was like,
yeah, I think it's Dior. I'm not sure, but it might have been like actually Mishka or Marquesa or
it's
something.
called like
but
Mirage or something.
Yeah,
something.
and the reason they call it an illusion dress is because the undertone in the material is supposed to match your skin tone, whether it's a skating outfit or whether it's J-Lo. So that tone, and it gives it a real sensual look. And then that beautiful cross diagonal lace pattern going all the way in that dark navy blue, like that. I mean, any woman would look great in that dress. Any woman would look great in that, but they don't really publicize that too much. In terms of like
it's not their
Bond branding for women, maybe. Yeah, exactly. They rely way more on the.
How many women are on the chat tonight? 0?
Oh, yeah. They maybe will, they'll buy the shoes, the suits, the watches, and Jeff will buy. And actually, the sunglasses are all sold out. Jeff will buy them all.
I bought Shannon and Madeline Swan's Purcell sunglasses, and
I love those.
You can't see them in the film, but if you go to whatever, Designing 007 or one of those things, you can see what the brand was. The little wedges she wears out in the desert. So Shannon has those too. It's like her go-to wedding shoes right now.
Oh, yeah. The James Bond Complex said, he's like, I don't know if it means anything, but he's like, on the Bond store, they had a cell phone charger dock, and the phone was for a Samsung. So I could totally see that. That would be hot. I would, because I've been so brand loyal. I've literally had a Sony phone since 2006. So if I switch over to Samsung, I will be really, really happy, and I'll be sticking with some Android. So that's really, really good. That'd be awesome. New Bond phone. What do you want from the next? What do you want from the next Bond movie? What do you think is?
I should probably get a Tom Ford suit.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
Daniel, the German, the wedding I went to with Anders, he had the Spectre white tuxedo for his wedding. He bought it, and he bought a black one too. I think the Skyfall one, or no, he did the blue, but he had a couple versions. And then he honeymooned in Jamaica at GoldenEye.
Oh,
he had like the whole line of Oliver Brown. So he's walking around Jamaica and Oliver Brown at GoldenEye, and has a red stripe, and it's pretty cool. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I love that Bond branding. We talked a little bit about that in the article that I did, that, product placement has really evolved into Bond branding. And that's why you see, clothers like Orla Barman. And for anyone who hasn't gotten at least one thing from that collection, myself included, because believe it or not, I think I told you this story. I was so chagrined when I came back. I saw all this beautiful stuff, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to wear like a long Thunderball, swim short suit. Like, it was like not something I'm going to wear. So I ended up buying these awesome pair of like powder blue shorts. They're not from the Bond collection, but for anyone who hasn't, I mean, an entirely Bond inspired line of clothing, you got to get yourself an Orla Barban. As a matter of fact, if anyone saw the interview that Morton did not too long ago with Brad Pitt, I think he's wearing that pink Thunderball campy, linen.
Fukunaga was wearing it.
Yeah,
recently. Oh, let's talk about our director.
Let's talk about Carrie.
I love the guy.
I love the guy.
He's the best director. He's on social media making jokes and.
Yeah. Well, how old is he? He's what, 30 something?
Yeah, maybe 40 tops probably. And...
So we're probably looking at one of the youngest Bond directors in quite a while.
Totally.
So he's really savvy. He's really tuned into the market, and the fact that you can, kind of, be a little tongue in cheek with your own franchise and your filming and what you're doing without, letting the kitty out of the burlap and giving away spoilers. That's great stuff. Oh my God, that's the best.
Did anybody see when he was? There was like Matera over there, and the light show was going on in his Instagram stories, and he pans over, and like Lea Seydoux was right there. And I thought that's pretty cool. Like imagine you're watching that in a documentary of Your Eyes Only, and John Glenn was there, and he turns over, and Carol Bouquet's right there. Like that's kind of what the Instagram is to me right now. Like the modern documentary history.
Yeah, it's super important. I think it's super important because so many people now are either just pulling the content in and retweeting. Right. So it's nice to see something come from a source. And I'm actually surprised because usually Eon keeps a pretty tight rein on that kind of stuff. Right. Like, like the whole Marvel franchise would basically during whole filming, they can't have and careful entering a no fun zone. Like how much fun is it to be able to do that kind of stuff and that they allow them to release it like that? Did you guys see that the behind scenes video with the guy who was doing the shooting of Bond and Leia? He's like, yes, love it, more, yes.
Oh yeah.
They're all reacting okay, dude, what are you on right now? And then they're like, yeah, more subdued. Like, yes, give it to me, more, because they look so deadpan. And we're like, oh my God, that was funny, man. Mm-hmm. That was so good, so good.
When the little vlog came out, the boom shot this, like the Jamaican little vlog, I really liked that. The social media accounts all reposted it. So Lashana Lynch reposted it, Anna de Armas reposted it, Carrie Fukunaga reposted it, Jeffrey Wright reposted it.
I'm going to look it up right now because it's driving me crazy.
For what?
The guy from Downton Abbey who's in the...
But I just love that they're marketing. Because The Rock markets his movies. It's one of the things we're missing with Daniel Craig. He's invisible.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be. But...
I want Dave Bautista again.
There's still hope, man. He's still alive. He's hanging out at the bottom of the train there.
Speaking of The Rock, you know what The Rock's Bond connection is, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Cool.
Let's just leave it at that. Yes, of course I do. His grandfather.
We know.
Okay, let's give the chat 2 minutes to see if anybody can write it, and then we'll tell them. What is The Rock's connection to the James Bond franchise? And I somewhat spoiled it, but you gotta write it in. To win what, Murray? He'll win.
What do they?
An Boulevard Brown onesie.
Yeah, exactly. An Boulevard Brown onesie. Actually, I'll let you. Shall I pull up the picture? What have I got? I can give away one of the MoMA pictures if you want. I think it's really cool.
We'll
I think
I'll see how impressed I am if anybody can actually get this.
Yeah, if anyone can answer it, then we'll pick the prize. Okay. Cast of No Time to Die.
They don't like the echo.
They don't?
I don't know.
I'm loving that. I love your subscribe button. Love the echo.
There's only 3 likes, 8 people are watching. It means 5 are slacking off right now.
The Bond men keep our Bond girls well dressed. If we did push that a bit more, and I'm like, yeah, I wonder what the division is out there. Is do women like Bond movies for their for Daniel Craig, the way he looks, the way he acts? Are there more men Bond fans out there than women, you think, Jeff? And just in general,
I think that's pretty easy to say yes to without even doing a survey. Intrepid says related to Sakata Odd Job actor? Wrong. Good try. Wrong.
Good try again. Your consolation prize is one of Jeff's pairs of sunglasses.
His grandpa is a goon and you only live twice. Well, James Bond Complex.
Which goon?
Which goon? Yeah. Let's narrow it down, James Bond Complex. Come on. You want to win this little photo? Or a onesie? His granddad was in You Only Live Twice.
Jeff's on his own for 2 seconds.
Okay.
While I go to the cabinet.
Come on, guys. Okay, we got You Only Live Twice. Let's narrow it down. What part? Just roughly describe it. I know it's not easy to...
Okay, so here we go. Cast of 25.
Billy something? Was it?
Yeah, it must be. What's this? Still, I don't know why I didn't pick up that whole picture and why they didn't give. I should just go to IMDb and check it out. Do you know if that's because I know so much about movies? A lot of my friends actually refer to IMDb. They're like, "Oh, just check it out. What's that stand for?" I'm like, the International Murray Database, which is very true.
Oh, James Bond complex got the one that fights with the sofa.
Excellent. Well
Booyah.
done. And great.
Montreal.
After the
Matt?
sofa
Sofa, Lloyd second. Sorry.
with the
Lloyd.
sword, bam, and the sword, wham, and then he hits them with the statue. Yeah, that is
the grandfather of The Rock.
That is right.
I got to learn that when I went to Japan.
That is right.
Just because people were
So-
talking about it.
So here is. So these are your choices, Mr. Winner. So in 1987 at the Museum of Modern Art was the 25th anniversary James Bond exhibit. It was one of the first sponsored and official exhibitions of EM. So I was 18. I took a bunch of photos, 2 of them that I blew up and that I thought they were pretty awesome. They were the 18 by 24. They go in a great frame. So I have 2 of them. So one of them is this picture, which I will pan across here.
Yeah, okay.
See? So that is across one of the walls in the Museum of Modern Art.
Cool.
And it's got a bunch of different sort of black and white stills.
Yeah,
You
I
can
can
see
see
Marshall Love here on the right.
Yeah.
As on the screen, I can tell if I looked at them what they are. Oh, it's Grace Jones holding up the Russian agent. It's got a scene with Maud Adams. It's got Bambi and Thumper. It's got Sylvia Trench over here playing golf in the nightshirt. And what is this one? Oh, and it's Pussy on the Plane. Where am I?
Pussy on the Plane. Is that the Mile High Club?
I'm just enough done with all these pussies on this plane. So, I've got this one.
Yeah.
Or I have.
So Matt's the winner.
I've got this one. Now, this one is one of the big display cases that they had there at the time, and it is filled with not only on the back here you'll see.
Go up.
It's got pictures. Yeah, it's got pictures and scenes from the sort of the storyboards and the sets, and then inside this amazing display case here, you'll see the exploding thermos from Avtac. It's got the Fabergé egg sitting up there. It's got Gobinda's 3-blader. It's got the buzzsaw. So this is a display case in the back that had all these Bond items in it, props in it, with all those storyboards on the back wall. So I've got 2 of these, and literally, guys, I'm not lying when I say it's one of a kind. You will never, ever, ever find anything like this anywhere. I've even checked the MoMA archive website, and their pictures were all black and white. These were original photos that I took with my little Kodak back when I was 18. I got the negatives. I've got the prints of my own, and I blew these up to 18 by 24 because I love them so much. So literally, this is like a piece of Bond history. If you have something like this, you'll have a piece of Bond history from one of the first ever Bond exhibitions, and literally one of a kind. So you can either have this one, the prop case, or you can have the other one, which is all the wall photos. So we've got one. I got 2, so we gave one away today. And on our next video, maybe when we're in New York together, maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll stop by the MoMA and do that. So congratulations to the winner.
He says you're too good, Murray.
Which one do y'all got to tell me is which one you want? Whether you want
Matt, the first one or the second one? So he'll come back in. But yeah. Sure. But let us know, guys. Maybe we'll give do more giveaways. I have tons of things I can start giving away.
I've got so much, dudes. I've got literally guys.
It's called purging.
I need to start thinning out my collection. I have so much stuff that, as long as it's not $1,000 poster, I am happy to give it away to our Bond fans. It expands our market. It gives you a chance to talk about it. And then if you want to collaborate and do something together, if you say, hey, oh my God, my uncle went to that, exhibit in New York in 1987. I'd be like, great, let's talk about it. What was there, It's great memories for me, and I love doing that stuff. So
I take the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
So this one here is on its way to you. Matt, do me a favor, just send me your address on Facebook Messenger, my personal Facebook, and I will make sure I get into the mail. And I'm not lying. This, in it, there's no dog-eared corners. It's going to need to be counter curled for probably about 10 minutes. For anyone who doesn't know how to counter curl, you just take a poster tube, take an elastic, wrap it around the opposite way to take most of the curl out of it. It doesn't even need a mat. Put it right in an 18 by 24 frame, and that will look freaking amazing. People are going to say, okay, where did you get that? What is that? Can I get that? And you'd be like, nope, one of a kind.
Because I watch live streams. Oh, we got Tim Abbott in. Tim, warning,
Tim.
There's an echo. Don't tell us there's an echo. We know it. Good day, guys. Good day, mate. He's the down under, the new Jeff Wybo's Tim Abbott. He's rival for me. He kills it.
Shout out to
better
Aaron,
dresser,
our
smarter.
our buddy YYC007 on Instagram. Aaron. Yeah, I really, really wanted to meet up with Aaron when he was here in Vancouver. I think I told you he came out here with his wife over what was the fireworks, Gay Pride weekend, and that long weekend here. And they came out for either his wife's birthday or his anniversary. I think it was his birthday, but they had dinner reservations. So sorry we didn't get a chance to connect, but I'm sure we will connect at some point. Soon. We really want to. We know there's tons of people across Canada who love Bond. America's a big country, so is Canada. And we're not trying to drive our numbers up. This is not an Instagram or clickbait thing. This is just, if you're a Bond fan, share. Tell your friends you're a Bond fan. That word of mouth spreads like wildfire, because what we really want is, Jeff and I are thrilled. We would do this for each other. We wouldn't care. But the fact that we, get to do it for our 2,500 Instagram followers, Facebook followers, our 2,000 Twitter followers, our 250 subscribers on our channel, that's okay. But we really want to...
234.
There we go. But we really want to differentiate. And again, I don't think this is a criticism, just an observation. We want to differentiate that fandom and that market, right? There's nothing wrong with anyone from the States loving James Bond Canada. But I'm always surprised that, that we don't have a more... like our fingers on the pulse of the nation of, hey, where are our Bond fans? Like, we know there's a few who are our top fans, and we thank you and we love you. But we really want to see where all of that, Bond stuff is going, because we know that there's more than, 2,000, people in Canada who love Bond. And the more people we get to that, the more ability it brings to us to collaborate with other Bond collaborators, like, James Bond Complex and, the generation before me, David Reinhardt, Ian Fleming Foundation, Jeff, the next generation of James Bond Canada, Britton Walker, put a lot together. And once we have a tangible market and something that says, because I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth right now. It's probably because I've had a couple drinks. But when it comes to being able to provide things like, ticket giveaways, swag, posters, right? We get that. I mean, we, as James Bond Canada, we have to campaign for that. We work really, really hard to say, look, hello, studio, could you send me 10 posters, please? Right? If they don't want to, and you can't pay for them until they get onto eBay. We'd love to buy one for everyone, but, Jeff's made of money. I'm not. You are, right? How many sunglasses you got?
It's Harris's fault. It's not my fault.
Oh yeah, that's okay. I'm just looking forward to being able to have a driver for 4 days in New York. Okay, Harris, I'm seriously put a baby car seat in the back. I will fit. Okay, because I know you'll have a driver, and I'm going with you. But if we have a large market, if you have 100 followers, it's tough to say, well, my 100 followers want something. If we have 5,000 followers, then we get paid more attention to. Like in the last premiere here in Vancouver, right? I was given, I think, either 6 or 8 or 10 t-shirts from Sony. I was given passes to the local premiere that we gave away on Twitter. So we feel, I wouldn't say, Jeff, is responsibility an okay word? We feel an affinity to our fans to say, look, we've reached a plateau and a place where we are considered, part of the global bond community. We have a good reputation. We're respected and knowledgeable. We engage and collaborate with our counterparts and always share. And since we are so grateful and humble that we're at this stage, we want to be able to, make you feel like Jeff and I felt when we first felt bond. So if we can get more followers, more clicks, more everything, then we have tangible evidence to say to the production company, the distributor, whoever, say, hey, look, I can do one tweet to 5,000 people that you're not aligned on the market for just your Canadian market, because everybody thinks that Canada is like, the US is enough. We literally get lumped in with the United States all the time because they consider us one market. That's why there's never a Canadian premiere. That's why everything goes through, the powers that be below us, right? Mm-hmm. We may be America's too, but they're our underwear. So it's like, if we really want to showcase stuff for Canada.
Yeah.
So if we can get 10 posters, it's like, damn, then our Canadian fans get posters. They get free t-shirts. We want to share. So if you're a Bond fan, share your passion, your love for it, share it with your friends, tell all your friends, and then they tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. And we get some big numbers, and then we can provide you with, and the more we have, the more you get. Like, I'm talking, it's possible you might get a free bottle of vodka. You might get a free bottle of champagne. You might get a swag bag full. What? Like, there might even be a pair of sunglasses. Well, there won't be sunglasses today, because if we get swag bags, unfortunately, Jeff will have scooped the sunglasses out of all 50 bags
first.
The bag. For himself. You can have the bag. What a guy.
Nice. Okay. Tim says, your channel and content is great. You should have way more followers. I'll continue to share content with people of Australia. Thank you, Tim.
Fair dinkum, mate.
And that's what even this YouTube channel tries to strive for, is so unique content. So Tim, tomorrow, or your time, later today for you, we got a James Bond Canada video coming up. And Tim, next week I have one already ready, and you are in it, my man. You are standing on the Bern balcony in Switzerland, and you're in it. So, okay, what do you got, Murray?
So this is like, again, I wanted to get a hold of, this was the limited edition Belvedere Spectre vodka, right? With the Spectre logo right there in the white on the bottom.
Put it right in front of your face.
Do I have to? You just want to cover me up. That's what it is.
No, keep going to your left. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Why is it half empty? What the heck? Keep going left. Keep going left.
So that frosted Spectre
That's your
logo,
right.
Yeah, I know. The frosted Spectre logo is on there. But they actually brought out a bottle of this that was like, I think it was $1,000. They only made like 400 of them worldwide. I wanted to get one. And actually in the window here, instead of the Belvedere Palace, they had the MI6 building.
Yeah.
And had a green cap. Man, I wanted one of those so bad. Obviously, I couldn't afford it. But
it's the wrong attitude, Murray.
I know, especially when Jeff
stole some money and then bought it.
Exactly. Especially when Jeff and I are able to do, let's say, Canadian press, when we do radio interviews, articles, TV, we often showcase this because the price point is within a normal consumer's ability to buy. Maybe you can't afford a $300 bottle of Bollinger Champagne, but you can afford a $65 bottle of Belvedere. When we promote products, everyone knows, we promote this stuff, and all of a sudden the distributor will reach out and say, hey, we're going to send you 4 bottles of vodka. Now, granted, I'm going to drink the vodka like I'm going to do now, and you will get an empty bottle. But I swear, if I get more than one, I will give you one.
Oh, no cup. Savage.
No cup.
Hey.
Cheers to Belvedere on a Friday.
And I'm empty. But and you're just saying about like when we have radio interviews, every radio video interview that James Bond Canada's on, it's like, what's your favorite James Bond? And what do you think Idris Elba should be the next Bond? You're just like,
and we've been through it before, but that's what we expect now. Yeah. Because we know what the consumer masses want to hear. They want, hey, what do you think of the theme song? Is Daniel Craig gonna? Last time when we were doing Spectre stuff, the first thing is, oh well, this is Daniel Craig's last movie, right? At that time, Jeff and I And a lot of the Bond community, they already knew that he had the option for the next one. It's part of his contract, but we weren't able to say anything, right? So the fact that they'll say, oh, well, he's done as this Bond. We get the standard questions, but we feel that the people who know Bond and know the franchise and who enjoy it more, you guys and our fans are going to be the ones who are asking us, like, hey, Murray, tell me more about Grosvenor Firs, or hey, tell me about Parks Canada. And if we don't know, we will find out. We want to create that specifically Canadian content to make you feel like you're part of the franchise, but it doesn't mean we're going to ignore, the rest of all the normal stuff that goes with Bond. So
Yeah,
should we?
It's a balance.
I'm a little bit tipsy now. I was going to say, should we tell them our package story? Because it's really funny.
Oh, you're gonna show your package on the internet?
No, you're gonna tell the story because I came up with the joke. You guys are gonna love
We
this.
both
This is
sent each other care packages, and we're gonna open and show our packages on YouTube. This is a PG. This is a license to kill. This is rated
I
R.
don't so Avtac because I don't know where it came from, and I realized after I said it because I was so excited when Jeff sent me the Honor Managery Secret Service stuff with the coasters and everything. I was like, oh man! I said I got your package, and I sent him the Secret Cinema stuff. He's like, oh, this is great. There's like there's casino chips and cards and this pocket square. I'm like, oh my god, that's totally how we should start off our next video. Let's show each other each other's packages. As soon as I said it, was like, oh man, I know there's a really bad joke in there somewhere. So that's what happens. Cheers.
Cheers. I think most of our people are off to bed, or Tim's off to Saturday morning coffee in Australia.
That's all right. Take your morning coffee, Instagram it, hashtag Good Morning Mr. Bond. We really love that to start trending.
Yeah.
We'll start putting that on Twitter.
If you guys haven't noticed,
that,
it's and Murray, I think you did Good Morning, Mr. Bond. We're not even saying good. We're just saying Good Morning, Mr. Bond. And we tag Dressing Like Bond, James Bond Canada, somebody else. Doesn't matter. Anybody else you want to throw in? And it's been great. It's been trending on YouTube for us, and it's great content. And people are leveling up. They're in like amazing hotels. They're all around the world posting their coffee. So.
Even so much so that they're actually getting people like to do it. We had one person say, "Take you to DZ." My experience, and he was in Scotland, and so as he's coffee and he's got it up there, and the barista hands a coffee and says, "Morning, Mr. Bond from Scotland," right?
Exactly.
So show us what you're doing in the morning. Show us where you are. Hashtag on Twitter and on Instagram. Morning, Mr. Bond. Put mention to as many other Bond people as you want. James Bond Down Under, James Bond Complex, James Bond Canada. Hit them all. Share it up. And we'll really get it going. And you know what? Jeff and I are going to promise that because Jeff is going to land around 9:30 or so in the morning on Saturday. He is coming directly to my hotel in Midtown. And then we are going to sort of meander around a little bit. So next Saturday, you will see a James Bond Canada first. Jeff and I will Instagram and hashtag Morning Mr. Bond together.
There you
live
go.
From New York. We'll pick a coffee
live
shop
from New York.
Live from New York.
It's James Bond Canada.
With Murray and Jeff. Awesome.
Cool, buddy.
We want to wish everyone an awesome weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Hit our like button, hit our subscribe button. Send us any questions on any of our channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our website. Please ask us anything you want to see, want to know more about. We've kind of got it all. We're covering everything, and we just want to wish everyone a really awesome weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
We are out. Sorry about the echo. We'll be fixed for next week. Whatever. All right, guys. Thank you, Murray.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, people are joining. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
They should